Hey guys, it's Heidi from My Reading Life here tonight to film my Booktubeathon 2017 wrap-up. And I'm very happy with how well I've done with the challenges for the readathon. I knew that I had to work full-time this week and that I had family obligations this weekend, so I knew I wouldn't have a ton of time for reading, so I'm extremely happy that I actually read everything on my TBR pile for the Booktubeathon. So that to me is a win. And so what I finished was, for challenge number 1, read a book with a person on the cover. I finished my audiobook, Rich People Problems by Kevin Kwan, and I absolutely love this book. It's the 3rd book in his trilogy about, it's kind of like a soap opera type book about the ultra rich in Asia, and they're super fun and fast paced, and I listened to all 3 of them on audiobook and I would highly recommend them. I'm not going to talk very much about Rich People Problems because obviously spoilers, book 3 in a trilogy. And then for the 2nd challenge, read a hype book, and the 6th challenge, read a book that you bought because of the cover. I finished Homegoing by Jassy. This is a historical fiction book that everybody's been talking about on Booktube for at least a year. I very much enjoyed this book. It was very readable. I really liked the setup of going through each chapter being a different person throughout the generations from these 2 descendants, these 2 half-sisters from Africa, one of whom marries a white man and lives a life of privilege, and one of whom is sold into slavery and goes to America, and then we follow their descendants through the years until present day. But I wish that it had been longer. I wish that each chapter, each character, we had been able to spend more time with them, because I think at times the narrative felt rushed, and at times I felt like it was a little you know, after school specialist. In other words, I felt a little bit like the author was banging me over the head with the points that she was trying to make, and they were a little too on the nose. So I think if each chapter had been if it had been allowed to be a bit longer so that the character could have been explored more subtly, I think that would have made it a stronger book. But I did enjoy it. And then for finishing a book in one day, I read Miss Marvel Volume 3, Crushed. This take on Miss Marvel by G. Willow Wilson is a super fun. I really enjoy the character, this Muslim American girl, you know, saving the day. I just think they're awesome. And then for finish a book completely outdoors, I actually read part of Homegoing outdoors, I read part of one of my other books outdoors, I read part of Miss Marvel Volume 3 outdoors, and then I completely read Miss Marvel Volume 4 outdoors as well. This time of year I tend to read a lot outdoors, so it's not surprising. But again, fun, fast-paced, perfect for a readathon. And then the last one, to read about a character that is very different from you, I finished The Morning They Came for Us, Dispatches from Syria by Janine Di Giovanni. This is a nonfiction where the author is a war journalist and spent a great deal of time in Syria, and this is a viewpoint of the Syrian conflict from the point of view of actual people that are living through it. And this was an important book. I'm glad that I read it. I learned a lot. I think what I took away from this is that I need to read a lot more. I need to learn a lot more about this conflict, because what I got out of this was that there isn't a good side here. There isn't a side to root for. Assad, the government side, has been committing atrocities against its own citizens. It's horrific. And then the rebel side is also committing atrocities against the citizenry. And if you're just a normal person trying to live your life in Syria, there really is no hero to turn to. And the chapter that dealt with how rape is used as a means of conducting war was probably some of the most harrowing writing that I've read. It was really tough to read. But I think this is a super important book. It made me want to read more about the Syrian conflict, and so for that, I think it's doing its job and doing its job well. So that's what I read for the Booktubeathon. I had a great deal of fun. I didn't have time to participate in any of the video challenges or anything like that, but it did push me to read a lot more than I otherwise would have this week, and so for that, I consider it a great success. And I will be back soon with another video. Talk to you later.